You're not crazy. You felt something. You saw the way she looked at you, leaned in a little closer, held that smile just a second too long. But then the doubts hit you. What if I'm reading it wrong? What if she's just being nice? What if she doesn't feel anything? Most men have been there, caught in that exhausting loop of trying to decode a woman's behavior like it's some encrypted puzzle. You replay conversations. You analyze her texts. You look for signs, but nothing feels certain. And let's be real, when you're a man who's lived a little, with some scars and lessons behind you, you don't have time for guessing games. The truth is, women aren't as mysterious as we've been told. When a woman is genuinely interested, she shows it. Not always with words, but with actions subtle, consistent, and unmistakable if you know what to look for. This video will walk you through those signals, the ones that separate polite curiosity from real attraction. It's not about pickup tricks or fake confidence. It's about seeing clearly what's already happening right in front of you. If you've ever found yourself second-guessing a woman's interest, or worse, talking yourself out of what was real, then this might be the wake-up call you need. Let's get into it. Sign 1. She finds ways to be near you. Let's start with one of the most obvious but overlooked signs that a woman is interested in you. She finds ways to be near you. It sounds simple, but proximity isn't an accident. In psychology, we call it incidental contact, but when it happens repeatedly and only with you, it's intentional. A woman who's into you will engineer moments to share the same space, not in big dramatic ways, but in small, calculated ones. Let me give you a real-world example. Mark, 52, is a physical therapist in Austin. Recently divorced, he's been easing back into the dating world without diving into apps or bars. At his gym, he noticed something subtle. Danielle, 45, a woman he casually chatted with a few times in group classes, started picking mats closer to his. If he went to the water fountain, she'd seem to show up right after. At first, he thought it was coincidence, but when she switched her schedule to his exact training time, it clicked. That's not randomness, that's intent. See, when a woman finds excuses to be physically around you, it's often because she wants to lower the emotional barrier. She's signaling comfort, curiosity, and most importantly, permission. She's letting you know that you're safe to approach, to talk, to engage. The mistake most guys make, they ignore it. They think, she's probably just friendly, or worse, they don't even notice. That's like walking past an open door because you assumed it was locked. Now, here's where it gets layered. Women are socially trained to be subtle. They rarely make the first move in an obvious way. Why? Because it still feels risky. The fear of being too forward, of seeming easy, or of getting rejected that's real. So instead, they choose closeness, presence. They put themselves where you are, hoping you'll pick up the signal. Stoicism has something to say here too. Seneca once said, "Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity." If you're prepared to notice her movement, her presence, you'll see what other men miss, and that's your opportunity. But don't mistake this for her doing all the work. Her showing up near you isn't the finish line, it's the invitation to start. This might be at the office, at the gym, at a local cafe. If she's consistently entering your physical orbit without needing to, it means something. Is she always at the morning meeting when she used to skip it? Is she suddenly sitting near you at church when she never did before? Is she pausing a little longer after yoga class instead of rushing out like she used to? That's not just proximity, that's preference. And here's the part men often forget. A woman doesn't need to say she likes you. Her actions will say it 10 times louder if you're paying attention. Mark noticed. And because he didn't overthink it, he responded. A casual conversation turned into coffee. Coffee turned into lunch. No pressure, just mutual interest sparked by shared space. So, if you keep bumping into her, or she always seems to find a way into your environment, don't brush it off. She's already moved her feet closer to you. Now she's waiting to see if your mind can catch up. If you've ever picked up on this sign, drop it in the comments. Say, I saw it coming. I born. The next sign? It's subtle, but it flips everything you think you know about female desire. Sign 2. She mirrors your energy. You walk into a room. You're calm, grounded, present. She was laughing across the room a minute ago, but now she's quieter. Her body shifts. Her vibe starts to match yours. That's not coincidence. That's mirroring. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she begins to reflect your energy, your posture, your tempo, your tone. It's subtle, but it's real. Think about it. Humans are wired for connection, and when we feel drawn to someone, our nervous system tries to sync with theirs. We lean in when they lean in. We smile when they smile. Our rhythm adjusts, not out of obligation, but attraction. With women, it goes even deeper. Mirroring is a form of unconscious rapport building. It's how she says, I feel safe here, or I want to understand you. But here's the key. It only happens when she's tuned in. She's not mirroring everyone. She's not adjusting for some random guy. She's doing it because something about you, your presence, your calm, your masculine energy pulled her in. You see, men often think attraction has to be loud. They expect giggles, dramatic glances, obvious flirtation. But real feminine interest? It's quiet. It's reactive. She's not performing, she's aligning. And that's exactly where most men miss it. Because they're too focused on what she's saying, not what she's reflecting back. She matches your body language. She matches your pace. If you speak slower, she slows down too. If you're relaxed, her shoulders drop. If you shift your gaze, she follows, but not to control, just to connect. That kind of subtle mimicry isn't just behavior, it's biology. Now, here's where Stoicism cuts through the noise. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Apply that here. Your energy, your mindset, your calm, it bleeds into the space around you. And if she's interested, she'll absorb it. She'll reflect it, because deep down, she wants to be in sync. And here's what makes this so powerful. It's a feedback loop. The more she mirrors you, the more connected she feels. And the more connected she feels, the more she mirrors you. It's attraction without words, and it happens before she even realizes she's doing it. This is why controlling your own energy is so critical. If you're scattered, nervous, trying too hard, she'll sense it. But if you're grounded, solid, intentional, she'll settle into that same frequency. It's not magic, it's not manipulation, it's chemistry. The kind that doesn't need pickup lines or flashy moves, just presence. So, if you're spending time around a woman and notice her energy syncing with yours, don't question it. Don't break it by second guessing. That's not just friendliness. That's her system saying, I like how this feels. And she wants more of it. Have you ever felt that shift in the air when she matches your mood and you both just click? Type in the comments. I've felt that. And up next we'll cover a sign so physical you can spot it across the room, but most men still miss it. Sign 3. Her body faces you. This one is so basic, so primal, that most men look right past it. When a woman's body is angled toward you consistently, intentionally, even when she doesn't realize it, she's communicating interest in the clearest, most ancient way possible. Let me tell you about Thomas and Rachel. Thomas is 58, owns a small design firm in Denver. After his wife passed away a few years ago, he wasn't looking for anything serious, but something happened. At a networking event, he met Rachel, 49, a financial consultant. Their conversations were casual, nothing overly flirtatious, but something kept bugging him. Every time they spoke, even in a crowded room, she'd angle her chair toward him. If they stood in a group, her feet would point at him. Her hips would shift to square off with his, even when someone else was talking. At first, he thought it was just her being polite, but no, this was consistent, deliberate. Her body was having a conversation her mouth wasn't ready to speak yet. Because here's the truth. Body orientation is primal communication. It bypasses the brain. It's how animals establish trust, interest, and hierarchy. We're no different. When a woman is interested, her body opens to you. Her shoulders align, her feet point your way. Her posture says, "I'm here for this, I'm available to this." That's a green light most men never see. You might be sitting at a cafe, and her body isn't turned to the room, it's turned to you. You might be walking beside her, and she angles in just enough to make the space between you feel intentional. It's not always dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. But when you look back, you'll realize it was there all along. And this gets even more interesting when combined with uncertainty. Sometimes she's not sure if you like her back. So her words stay neutral, but her body forgets to lie. Stoic wisdom shows us how to observe without judgment. Epictetus taught, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." In this case, learn to listen with your eyes. Her body is telling you more than her words ever will. Don't confuse this with friendliness. When a woman positions herself to face you, even when she has options to do otherwise, that's no accident. Thomas noticed, and eventually he took a step forward, light conversation over lunch, then longer walks after meetings. Rachel was responsive, open, warm, and guess what? She later admitted she'd been interested from the very beginning. Her body gave her away. So, what should you look for? Feet pointed at you in a group conversation. Shoulders squared off even when you're not speaking. A slight lean forward while you're talking. Shifting her position so you're in her line of sight over and over. These are not filler gestures, they're signals. Unfiltered, raw attraction broadcasted in silence. And if you're not watching, you'll miss the most honest part of the conversation. If you've seen a woman's body language speak before her words did, drop a comment. I knew before she said it. Coming up next, we'll talk about a kind of confidence that only shows up when she's genuinely nervous. Sign 4. She's nervously confident. There's a specific kind of energy women carry when they're into a man, but don't quite know what to do with the feelings. It's a strange mix. On the surface, she's confident, smiling, relaxed. But underneath, she's visibly unsettled. She fidgets with her hands, she plays with her hair, her laugh is just a little too quick, her voice slightly higher. That's nervous confidence, and it's one of the strongest indicators of genuine interest. You see, when a woman doesn't care about how she's perceived, her body stays flat, neutral. But when she's invested in how you see her, when she wants to be seen as attractive, cool, composed, she starts to wobble between poise and pressure. And most men, they misread it. They see the nervous laugh and think, she's not into me. They catch her glancing away and assume she's distracted. But in reality, she's checking herself. She's mentally adjusting every little detail, not for herself, but for you. It's not anxiety from fear, it's anticipation. Feminine energy often expresses interest through small contradictions. She wants to be seen, but doesn't want to come off desperate. She wants connection, but fears appearing too available. So she overthinks, just a little. She's confident enough to talk to you, to engage, but she's not breezing through it because it matters. You matter, and that throws her off balance in the best way. This behavior shows up in very specific ways. She might fix her posture as you walk by. She touches her neck. She adjusts her clothing, smooths her hair, repositions her legs. Not out of insecurity, but out of awareness. Awareness that you are watching. The Stoics taught a kind of radical awareness too. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Oh, but the twist here. She's not in retreat. She's exposed. Her internal world is stirred, and it's written all over her outer behavior. That tension between wanting control and being pulled by emotion, that's what makes it real. And that's the moment you need to recognize. Because if you misread her nervousness as disinterest, you'll miss the truth. She's open, not closed. She's tuned in, not tuning out. Her nerves aren't walls, they're signs. She's not numb to you. There's a softness in her movements that's both alive and deliberate. Her energy isn't bouncing around the room, it's bouncing around you. Confidence is attractive, but nervous confidence, that's revealing. So next time you notice a woman who seems sure of herself but can't quite stay still when she's near, you don't overlook it. That mix of control and chaos, that's chemistry at work. She's trying to stay cool, because you already make her warm. Ever picked up on this before? Drop a comment. I noticed the shift. And what happens when her eyes say yes, but her behavior pulls back? The next sign is where logic and instinct collide. Sign 5. She laughs easily. There's something about laughter that gives everything away. When a woman laughs easily around you, even at things that aren't particularly funny, it's rarely about the joke, it's about you. Let me paint the picture. Mike, 47, is a contractor from Nashville. After a long day on site, he usually stops by the same coffee shop to wind down. That's where he kept running into Jenna, 42, a therapist who worked nearby. They'd chat a little, nothing heavy. But what stood out to Mike wasn't what she said. It was how often she laughed. And not just polite chuckles. Full, present, warm laughter over things he didn't even think were that clever. At first, Mike thought she was just being nice. But over time, he noticed something different. She didn't laugh that way with anyone else. Around others, she was composed, even a bit reserved. But when it was just the two of them, it was like he flipped a switch. That's a signal, loud and clear. See, laughter isn't just a response, it's a release. When a woman laughs easily around you, it means she's relaxed, she feels safe. She's not in performance mode. She's dropped the guard and let herself enjoy the moment. And deeper still, it means she's drawn to your presence. From a psychological standpoint, we laugh more around people we want to connect with. It's an unconscious bonding tool. So even if your jokes aren't top shelf, if she's giggling with ease and warmth, that's attraction talking. Here's where Stoicism offers a useful check. Seneca wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." When she laughs easily, that's what she's doing, living in the present with you. No filters, no pressure, just real connection. The trap most men fall into is trying to be funny on purpose. They start forcing humor, overreaching, trying to impress. But if she's already laughing, you've already impressed her without effort. Her reaction isn't about the punchline. It's about the comfort you bring. Jenna didn't laugh for attention. She laughed because she was emotionally available. Her laughter was permission, an invitation. So if you notice a woman consistently laughs more freely when she's with you, pay attention. Compare how she reacts to others in the room. Does she smile politely with them, but break into genuine laughter with you? That's no accident. That's emotional alignment. And here's the thing. It doesn't always mean she's ready for something serious, but it does mean she's open. She's emotionally available in that moment, and your energy brings out her playfulness. Mike eventually picked up the cue. He stopped trying so hard to impress and just let the connection unfold. That shift, it turned casual coffees into late-night conversations, into trust, into something real. So don't overlook it. A laugh can carry more truth than 100 compliments. If she laughs easily around you, she's not just amused, she's interested. If you've felt this energy before, hit the comments and write, "I've seen this." Next, we're diving into one of the most revealing signs when she can't stop trying to find you, even in a crowded room. Sign 6. She engages in small talk. Small talk is underrated. Most people dismiss it as meaningless filler, just background noise while we wait for something deeper. But when a woman goes out of her way to make small talk with you, it often carries a bigger signal than you realize. It's not just about asking how your day was or commenting on the weather. It's about opening a door, giving you access. When she initiates small talk, what she's really doing is creating space. A soft space. A safe one. One that says, I'm willing to linger here with you, even if we don't say anything profound. And here's what most men overlook. Women don't invest energy in men they aren't at least curious about. So when she keeps the conversation alive with light questions, little observations, playful teasing, or even seemingly pointless chatter, that's not random, that's intentional. It's a test, sure, but not in the manipulative way. It's a test of vibe, of ease, of rhythm. She's trying to see, can I be myself around him? Can we just talk? The Stoics actually understood this well. Epictetus said, nature gave us one tongue and two ears, so we could hear twice as much as we speak. And when a woman is engaging in small talk, she's not just speaking, she's also listening carefully, reading your responses, feeling your energy, watching how you handle silence, how you respond to her lightness. It's not the topic that matters, it's the comfort, the flow. Now, here's what separates a man who understands this from one who doesn't. Tarshan. The average guy dismisses small talk. He either ignores it or rushes through it, thinking, let's get to the point. But the man who pays attention, he leans in. He treats those moments like what they really are, a quiet invitation. Because here's the thing, if a woman truly had no interest, she wouldn't bother at all. She wouldn't try to keep the interaction going. She wouldn't circle back with another question. She wouldn't laugh at the silly joke or ask you what kind of coffee you like or share some random story about her morning. She'd disengage. She'd close off. She'd retreat. But if she's choosing to stay in that soft space with you, even if just for small talk, there's a reason. There's interest, curiosity, openness. It's subtle but powerful. Because the women who are truly guarded won't even start the conversation. The fact that she does and keeps it going is your clue. This is where your presence matters most. Not your punchlines, not your achievements. Just your ability to meet her energy, respond genuinely, and stay present. That's what she's scanning for. Emotional fluency. She wants to feel how you carry light moments, how you respond when there's no agenda, how you make space without rushing or trying to impress. So, don't brush it off. Don't try to turn small talk into deep talk too fast. Let it breathe, let it flow. That's where attraction often starts, where trust is built quietly, one unimportant sentence at a time. If you've had those soft, lingering conversations and now realize what they really meant, go to the comments and type, I felt that. Next up, we'll break down one of the strongest signs of emotional connection, when her eyes start searching for yours. Sign 7. She brings up other women. Let's talk about one of the most unexpected but revealing signs of attraction, when a woman brings up other women in conversation. On the surface, it might seem random. Maybe she's asking about your ex, mentioning a female co-worker you talked to, or joking about someone who looked at you in the coffee shop. But don't brush this off, it's rarely just small talk. It's a subtle test. Take Eric, 52, a software consultant from Seattle. He'd been casually talking to Melissa, 48, a physical therapist he met through a mutual friend. They weren't dating, not officially, but they'd meet up now and then, text throughout the week, keep things light. One day, out of nowhere, Melissa asked, "So, are you still seeing that woman from the wine bar?" Eric was confused. He'd only mentioned that woman once, months ago. He hadn't even been interested. But Melissa remembered. She was tracking. That's what this behavior reveals. When a woman brings up other women, she's doing two things: showing she's aware of your orbit and trying to gauge where she stands in it. It's part curiosity, part defense, part subtle competition. She's trying to assess how much attention you're giving others. She's also giving herself a reason to keep you in her mental space without making a full-on confession of interest. She won't say, "I want you," but she will say, "Are you seeing her?" That's a breadcrumb, a signal. Now, here's the twist most men miss. If you downplay her question too quickly, like, "Nah, she's just a friend," you miss an opportunity, because what she really wants to know is, do you see me? Do I matter in the same way? And here's where it gets deeper. Sometimes she'll bring up other women not out of jealousy, but to create tension, to stir something. She's nudging the emotional field, seeing how you react. Do you get flustered? Do you lean in? Do you pull away? Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." If she's thinking about you often enough to monitor who you're around, then whether she shows it directly or not, her soul is already colored with you. It's not about controlling you, it's about emotional positioning. When she brings up other women, she's both claiming a bit of space and testing how much of that space you're willing to offer back. Now, what did Eric do? Instead of brushing it off, he smiled and asked Melissa, "Why do you ask?" That flipped the dynamic. Suddenly, she was the one explaining herself. That one moment led to an honest conversation, and shortly after, to a shift in their relationship. The key isn't to manipulate these moments, it's to recognize them, to see that behind every innocent question about another woman, there's a deeper question waiting: how do I compare? And if she's asking that even in coded ways, it means you're already in her emotional zone. So, next time a woman casually brings up someone else in your life, don't just answer the question. Read the moment. Feel the weight behind the words. She's not just talking about her. She's talking about you. If you've experienced this kind of coded curiosity, drop a comment. I caught it. And in the next part, we'll look at the one non-verbal cue that gives away everything she's feeling, even when she tries to hide it. Sign 8. Her touch lingers just a second longer. Physical contact is one of the clearest forms of unspoken communication, and when a woman allows it not just casually, but intentionally, there's often more going on than meets the eye, especially when that touch lingers just a little longer than necessary. You might notice it during a handshake that doesn't end quite on time, a brief touch on your arm when she laughs, a thank you hug that feels warmer, slower, and more grounded than the typical polite gesture. These aren't accidents, they're signals. A woman doesn't need to say, "I want to be close to you," when her body is already doing the talking. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." The same applies to our awareness. We must learn to observe more than we assume, because what you miss in a moment of distraction could be the moment everything shifted. See, when attraction is new and still forming, touch becomes one of the safest ways she can express closeness without having to spell it out. She's testing how you receive her energy. Does your body stiffen? Do you lean in? Do you pull back? These are the things she's watching. Now, here's why that subtle delay matters. In a purely platonic interaction, physical contact tends to be quick, distant, and respectful. There's no extra warmth, no added softness. But when there's romantic tension, that touch lingers, not long, just enough, just a second more than you'd expect. And that just a second is loaded with meaning. It's her nervous system saying, "I trust this." Her body is inviting you in, even if her words haven't caught up yet. This isn't about seduction in the cinematic sense. It's about intimacy in the real world. Stoicism reminds us that virtue lies in action, not in appearances. Seneca said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." And if you're grounded, if you're aware and not reactive, you'll be able to recognize the difference between attention and intention. That lingering touch, that's intention, but it's fragile. If you respond too quickly or too aggressively, the trust breaks. If you ignore it completely, the window closes. Your role here is to stay present, to feel it, to register the moment for what it is, her unspoken way of saying, "I want to be seen." Many men overlook this because they're too focused on what she's saying. They miss what her presence is doing. Here's what to look for. Does she touch you in moments that feel emotionally open, like after a joke or a shared moment of silence? Does she touch only you, even when others are around? Does her touch come paired with eye contact? If the answer is yes, then she's communicating something powerful. She may not even be fully aware she's doing it. That's what makes it genuine. In Stoic practice, we're trained to observe without judgment, to read the world not through our wants, but through what is. So when you feel that lingering touch, don't attach a fantasy to it, but don't ignore it either. Let it inform your awareness. Let it guide your understanding of where the connection stands. And if it happens more than once, pay attention. Because consistency in body language always means something, especially when it's subtle, especially when it comes from someone who usually keeps her distance. The truth is, a woman's touch, when extended with intention, is never random. It's always a quiet offering, one that speaks volumes, even when no words are exchanged. Remember, real attraction doesn't always come through grand gestures or flirtatious remarks. It often emerges in these nearly invisible moments that carry emotional weight. A Stoic man sees through the noise. He remains centered, present, and tuned in. He doesn't chase signs, but he notices them. He doesn't make assumptions, but he reads the room with quiet accuracy. You don't need to respond with a move of your own right away. Just acknowledge the space she's creating. Sometimes, the most attractive thing a man can do is respect the signal, hold the tension, and allow her to step forward again on her terms. That's what emotional strength looks like. That's what calm masculine presence feels like to a woman. Safe, grounded, aware. If you've picked up on this quiet cue before, leave a comment that says, "I noticed it." Next, we're moving into the most revealing sign of all the moment. Her eyes speak louder than anything she says. Sign 9. She makes you feel like the only man in the room. There's a very specific moment when you realize a woman is truly interested in you. It's when you feel like you're the only man in the room. No distractions, no one else pulling her attention, just you and her, in a kind of invisible bubble, even if the whole world is buzzing around you. For Mark, 47, a business owner from Colorado, this happened at a charity event. He was chatting with a group of people when Rachel, 44, who he'd met only once before, walked over and joined the circle. She greeted everyone, but when she turned to him, her entire energy shifted. Her body faced him, her smile deepened, her eyes held his a little longer. And every time someone else spoke, she kept her attention quietly tethered to him. He noticed her reactions synced with his comments, not anyone else's. When he spoke, she listened. When someone else jumped in, her gaze wandered back to him. That's the moment a man feels it, not because of anything dramatic, but because it's so focused, so quietly intense, it stands out. This behavior is about emotional spotlighting. She's using her presence to highlight you above the crowd. Now, this might seem simple on the surface, but it's actually one of the strongest forms of attraction. Why? Because attention is a form of power. And where a woman places that attention reveals where her emotions are landing. Think about it, most women are emotionally intelligent. They know how to spread their energy around. But when that energy is focused in one direction, consistently, with presence and interest, it's no accident. It's deliberate, even if it's unconscious. And here's what separates this from simple friendliness: consistency over time. If she makes you feel like the only one once, maybe she's just being kind. But if it happens again and again, at dinner, at work, in a group setting, it's a pattern. The Stoics were masters of inner awareness. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." That applies here. Because when a woman focuses her energy on you like this, she's responding to something within you. Your presence, your calm, your masculinity. She's not reacting to a show or a performance, she's recognizing an internal power that resonates with her. The key for men is to recognize it without getting arrogant. This isn't about showing off or owning the moment, it's about honoring it. Letting that connection build without overplaying it. Let's go back to Mark and Rachel. That same week, they ended up at a follow-up event. And again, Rachel gravitated toward him. Not forcefully but naturally. The room disappeared. Their conversation deepened. She asked questions. She remembered things he'd said from days earlier. It wasn't about her trying to impress, it was about her tuning in. Men often miss this sign because it's not loud, it's not flirtatious, it's focused. A woman making you feel like the only man in the room isn't about seduction, it's about attention. She's giving you her energy in a world full of distractions. That's rare, that's intimate, and it's also a test. Will you notice? Will you respect it? Will you hold that energy without trying to dominate it? This is where emotional maturity matters. The Stoic man doesn't need to flex or respond with theatrics. He receives that attention with quiet strength. He stays grounded, engaged, present, because that's exactly the energy that made her notice him in the first place. Here's another layer. When she tunes out the rest of the world to be fully present with you, she's not just expressing interest, she's risking vulnerability. She's saying, "You're worth my focus, even if it's just for a few minutes." That's a rare thing in today's distracted culture. And it speaks volumes. This kind of singular focus has weight. It shows where her emotions naturally settle when she isn't trying to impress anyone. It's the purest form of attraction, attention without agenda. If you've ever felt this kind of attention where everything else fades and it's just you and her, then you already know how powerful it is. Drop a comment if you've ever been in that moment. Say, "I felt that." Coming up next is the 10th and final sign, the one that proves her emotions have crossed the line from curiosity into certainty. Sign 10. She slows down the goodbye. You can learn a lot about how someone feels about you, not when they greet you, but when they leave. Pay attention to the goodbye, the way it lingers, the pauses, the hesitation. If a woman slows down the goodbye, chances are she doesn't want that moment with you to end. It's subtle but powerful. Maybe it's an extra comment that didn't need to be said. Maybe it's a second hug or a smile that lingers while you turn away. Sometimes she'll bring up a new topic right as the conversation is wrapping up, almost like she's hitting pause on the goodbye. That's no accident. When someone isn't emotionally invested, goodbyes are quick, clean, functional. But when she's into you, she resists the ending. Not in an obvious way, but in a way that stretches time just a little longer. This is what happened to Brandon, 52, a divorced engineer from Phoenix. He met Elise, 48, through mutual friends. After a casual dinner, everyone stood up to leave. Most people gave quick goodbyes, already looking at their phones, but Elise stayed close. She made a few more comments about the food, asked Brandon about his weekend plans, then offered to walk out with him despite her car being in the opposite direction. That walk turned into a 20-minute conversation under the parking lot lights. Neither wanted to say it, but both were feeling something, and it showed in the way they didn't want to leave. When a woman slows down the goodbye, she's leaving an opening. She's giving the moment space to evolve, to possibly lead somewhere else. It's vulnerability wrapped in time. She's hoping you notice, but not necessarily calling it out. Stoic thought often warns us not to cling, not to chase. But that doesn't mean we close ourselves off to connection. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." And this applies perfectly here. She's not wasting that moment. She's stretching it because it matters to her, because you matter. You'll also notice her body language change during these extended goodbyes. She'll lean in instead of away. Her voice softens. Her posture relaxes. She's not in a rush to check her phone or rejoin her friends. Her energy is still with you. Now, it's important not to confuse friendliness with attraction. Some people are naturally warm, but again, the key word here is consistency. If she's always the last to leave, always the one keeping the moment alive, always looking for a reason to prolong your presence that's not just friendliness, that's emotional interest. These moments are quiet tests. She's watching what you do with the time she's giving you. Do you rush off? Do you notice and match the energy? Or do you awkwardly fumble the exit? A confident man doesn't need to overplay his part. He just stays present, calm. He lets the space unfold naturally. If she gives you that energy, mirror it back gently, with awareness. Brandon didn't make a bold move in the parking lot. He didn't ask for her number right then. He just stayed in the moment, engaged her with questions, smiled at her warmth. The next day, she reached out through their mutual friend. That's all it took. In Stoicism, presence is a form of power. It means you're not chasing time, but also not wasting it. A goodbye, stretched just enough, is one of the most sincere gestures a woman can offer, especially when her words don't quite catch up to her feelings. So next time you notice a woman dragging her feet to end a moment with you, pause before you brush it off. Ask yourself why. Feel the space she's holding. And if the connection feels mutual, don't rush. Stand in it. That's where the real signal lives, not in what she says, but in what she extends. She's not slowing down because she's unsure. She's slowing down because, in that final moment, she feels something, and that something is you. This moment also reflects how safe she feels in your presence. People rush away from discomfort, but they linger in what feels good, what feels grounding. When she slows her goodbye, she's revealing her inner state: comfort, attraction, and maybe a hint of nervous hope. And here's the part most men miss. She's giving you permission to keep the connection going, not just in that moment, but afterward. A lingering goodbye is often her way of saying, "I'm open if you are." If this video sparked something in you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way, you never miss the mindset shifts that can quietly change everything. Inside, we don't chase, we lead, and we grow together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.